Hi, welcome to the Smarter Marketing Podcast. I'm Terry, your host, and we're continuing our Nonprofit November series. Today, we're exploring how nonprofit organizations can effectively recruit and retain volunteers through the use of strategic marketing. Volunteers are the lifeblood of nonprofits, and with the right marketing strategies, you can attract and keep dedicated individuals who believe in your mission. So let's dive in. Number one, I want you to think about defining your volunteer needs. To effectively recruit volunteers, you must start by defining your volunteer needs and how they're going to work with you. So, I want you to develop clear and compelling volunteer job descriptions that outline the role, the responsibilities in that role, and the impact of that position. Then, once you have that information, you're very clear on the positions that you need, you're going to use targeted digital media ads and posts to create and reach potential volunteers who match those requirements. So the ad, your social media post, your LinkedIn content, all of these things are going to highlight the role and the significance within your agency, your organization, and your nonprofit. Next, we're going to utilize digital marketing. In the digital age, we have online marketing to reach more audiences. This powerful tool is going to ensure that your content is prominently featured in volunteer opportunities. Think about utilizing that search engine optimization to make it easily discoverable to people who are looking for those positions. And then leverage your social media platform with engaging content to showcase the story of current volunteers and the impact they're making. Then invest in advertising on social media to reach a broader audience that develops the volunteers traveling to your website. That funnel is being built. Next, we're going to think about email marketing. We've talked about email marketing in the past and the ability to use free tools that help you to build a database, create an email, and send these out on a regular basis. So, utilize an email marketing tool to gather names and segment those names and then send out content. So it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody looking for a job. Your database could know somebody who knows somebody who's looking for an opportunity. That is a gold mine for recruitment. Segmenting them into specific groups is another easy way to look at volunteer based content, sending that out and getting them involved and engaged with you. And then, based on their previous interactions, you're able to use targeted content. If you send personalized emails, they're going to capture their attention and get your open rate a lot higher. And then describe the volunteer roles that we've just discussed earlier and the impact and the benefits. Consider using real pictures for eye-catching and visuals used in your emails. And then use AI or have a person review this to include persuasive language and tone, making that message stand out and be compelling and reach out to their personality and connect with them on a deeper level. Community partnerships. If you can forge partnerships with local businesses, schools, and organizations, you're going to expand that pool of people who would consider volunteering with you. There are a lot of groups that come over to my food pantry, and in this community, they go to volunteer, they help sort food, they serve people. There are a lot of opportunities there, but the enjoyment that they get out of it as this group together is that it's relationship building. They get to spend the day together. And these organizations and groups and schools that come together to work at this agency really do have a great time. And that's one of those things that you can carry out through your messaging is the time spent is time very well spent for many, many reasons. And if you can collaborate, you can get other leads to reach a wider audience to get new volunteers. And then once the school or the organization or the group or the employee group come over to work with you, share their support for your cause on your website and social media and newsletters. And this does two purposes. The first one, I want you to think about every time somebody comes in to work with you in that regards, like a group that comes in and this is their community service day that they have, that they invest in the community. Thank them, acknowledge them, and let them know how valuable they are to you by calling them out on social media and letting other people know how grateful you are for the local bank staff to come and spend their day working with you, and the impact that they had goes way beyond a personal thank you or anything else that you might send in a letter. Recognizing them among their peers has value to them, and they see that they had huge impact because other people would congratulate them and thank them for their service and help them to feel good about that. In addition to that, the bonus is the other bank is going to see that this bank has come to work with your organization. And then that strikes up an idea with them to say, oh, wow, I didn't even think about doing that in our local community. Let's see if we can get a community day together and our staff together, and let's go volunteer as well. Plus, the added benefit of creating this on your social media and newsletters and website is that you get engagement, exposure, and you reach new audiences. So that bank, for example, has 100 people that like their page, and you tag them and share them on your post, you're going to be able to reach to their 100 likes and people that are following them as well. So your reach goes even further. Next, let's think about engaging current volunteers. Those volunteers that are already with you, stay with you regularly and consistently, come to you every Monday or the third Saturday of every month. They are your advocates. Encourage them to share their experiences within their circle and their personal networks, whether that be at local groups or the church organization that they belong to, or even just their social media for that matter. And they could also write a 5-star review for you on Google because they are your advocates. If you can create a volunteer referral program and they get rewarded for bringing in new volunteers, recognize and celebrate the contributions that they do publicly. Again, it might not be a bank, it might be an individual, but if you can show how valued your volunteer base is to others, then people are look for that opportunity to do good with your organization. Now, with any volunteers, it is extremely important that you give them a sense of belonging, making them feel special and create an inclusive community where they belong is your job of securing and retaining volunteers. I know that there's a lot of things that you do in the day, but if your business, organization, or nonprofit runs on volunteers, it is extremely important to make sure that each and every volunteer has a good experience within your organization or the 4 hours that they're there. Make sure that you develop the content that goes out that portrays the welcoming atmosphere and the vibrant community that you've built inside your organization so others will want to join too. Because remember, this is all about recruiting and retaining volunteers today in this podcast. Make it an important step in your marketing to share stories and testimonials from those current volunteers. Allow them the opportunity to attest to that sense of belonging that they found here with you, and use that social proof, we call it, on your social media to engage and demonstrate that community spirit that you've built. Next, volunteers really make an impact on your business. Think about the money that you would spend on payroll or the opportunities that would be missed if you didn't have them. Volunteers want to know that their time and effort are making a difference. So regularly share those real stories of positive impact that they've had on individuals or families or the community that you're in. Before and afters are a good narrative to use. Data and statistics are another one I want you to include. Showcase concrete results. If you say last quarter, we were able to serve 500, where because of our new volunteer base, we increased that 50% over last quarter. Or because of our volunteers, we're able to keep our expenses low and we are able to serve a meal for less than $1. Those are all statistics that are concrete and real in the contributions based on the volunteers that you have. And share them, include them in newsletters to your stakeholders, to local organizations, to leaders in the community, to large donors who contribute money. They want to know that you're being good stewards with their money, and the volunteers that are collaborating to help make that money go further, they're interested in hearing those as well. In social media, the community wants to stand behind you and rally behind your organization. They will enjoy seeing the impact that you are having in the community. And then, of course, make sure that's visible on your website. And this one is critical. Thank every single volunteer. Express the deep gratitude that you have because that gratitude is the retention strategy. If you have personalized thank you emails, cards that go out every season or the holidays, social media posts acknowledging that this group, this person, this organization, the volunteers, the counters, the sorters, the pickers, the packers, and the deliverers, every single volunteer that comes to your organization should be recognized for their contribution and highlight those achievements by publicly celebrating those milestones with them and your organization. We were able to serve 1,000 new people this year and celebrate that and acknowledge that it couldn't be done without those volunteers. And do think that your business might be on one channel. There might be another channel on social media that you could use so you can reach even new volunteers. A lot of times, I'm going to add to this, a lot of times businesses and organizations have trouble with recruiting younger board members and younger volunteers because the generation that's managing the organization is different than the generation who's going to keep it going. And I want you to think about exposing yourself to new audiences and new platforms because you have holes to fill. If not today, in 2 years from now, you'll need to start continuously recruiting volunteers. And that also goes for your board members. That goes for people that are just here now and you may need to replace them in the future. Think about expanding your reach and using digital channels to reach different audiences. Just because it's been done this way doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. So if you can evolve and grow and think about new opportunities, that's where you're going to get new volunteers. And then, of course, when they're with you, it's really important that you make their time special with you. Elevate that experience by organizing exclusive appreciation events like a volunteer tea, celebrating them, having door prizes, some sort of sweet entertainment. Maybe there's specialized training sessions or hosting those team building activities just for them, depending on the size of your volunteer base. It's really going to matter um, how many you're serving, as well as the budget that you have for that. And then create a sense of purpose with a fun and engaging atmosphere in your organization. And then use social media again regularly to promote these special events and showcase the experiences that the volunteers enjoy that they wouldn't necessarily be getting elsewhere. So, to summarize, Engage your current network, reach out to board members, donors, and supporters, ask them for referrals. Leverage your social media by sharing volunteer stories, photos, and videos of what's happening and the rewarding experience of being a part of your organization. And then collaborate with local businesses and schools to forge those partnerships because they have community engagement programs and students that are seeking volunteer opportunities. Leverage your website. Make sure that it is easy for potential volunteers to find that information, fill out the form, and get in touch with you. Send out email marketing, regular newsletters that include the stories of the volunteers and the impact they're making, and your ask about recruiting volunteers and getting new people involved. And then there are tap into online volunteer platforms. Registering your nonprofit for those platforms like Volunteer Match or Idealist will help get your business out in front of others. And know the value. Volunteers are incredibly important to nonprofit world, and incorporate these strategies into your recruitment and retention plan because you have to attract and engage and retain those passionate volunteers. And then I want you to think about evaluating the effectiveness of your volunteer recruitment strategy. Use the data and analytics from your email marketing, your social media, and your website to understand what's working and where you need to adjust. And then last, optimize them. Be flexible and adaptive. It's incredibly important to build this marketing plan, build this into your organization, and continually promote your recruiting process. I hope this has been helpful and stay tuned. We've got other Nonprofit November podcast episodes coming up and check them out.